in your inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, I like Salman Shah Rukh a lot. Amitabh Bachchan sir. Amitabh Bachchan sir though is a legend and everybody loves him. So yeah. And what's the other question?
Do
Sorry.
you believe in astrology?
No, actually that's why I like the story like 70. Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
They answer. No, no, we can't. Okay, yeah, I never believed. I never believed.
Prabhas, do you agree? Here,
Sorry.
welcome to Mumbai.
Hi.
Prabhas, do you agree that with Bahubali you opened the route to the Tollywood industry and now it's doing very well? What is your answer to
So
this?
actually, writers and director opened the thing. I was part of it. So yes, actually, Bahubali started to open a lot of things. Yeah.
And do you, you just said that star and actors, you know. So I want to ask, do you agree that for a film to run successfully, a star is needed, you know? And what do you consider yourself as a star or as an actor?
What do you think? I'm a star man. Okay, whatever. Okay, hope both one day. So yeah. I didn't do Radhesham to prove as an actor. I just wanted the audience. I want to entertain audience in a different way. So I'm not like very keen about awards or nothing. Maybe now, maybe after 10 years, I don't know. But now I'm not so keen about awards. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Ship in the climax.
Adding to that, I had the same kind of question, Rasool, especially I want to ask you, Rasool. Yeah, here.
Yes, please.
You have seen and heard the international level also. Now here, somewhere Titanic kind of feeling even I got. So where will you rate the audio section over here? And what is so special about Prabhas and Pooja when it comes to audio level? Their particular, any favorite thing about their audio?
Actually, I shouldn't say this. It's very pompous to say this. But when I actually saw the first cut, I told Radha, I call him India's James Cameron. Radha James Cameron is what I generally call him in my messages and all that. I said the climax is bigger than Titanic. The way it is been done. I mean, I don't want to break all the Q factor of the film. That's what I genuinely felt. So it posed me a huge challenge. See again, it's a love story. Titanic was also a love story. Comparisons are going to come, but don't compare it. I'm saying this is more of a La La Land, I would say. You know, for me personally speaking. And when you deal with films like this and you want to make it international, like yesterday when we were watching the reels with Prabhas, he was actually saying it's sounding international. You know, it's looking international. It's like, but at the same time, it is a love story that come from Indian cinema. You know, like Faridun said, you know, you talked about Indian cinema. Now we're talking about Indian cinema. I should say historically it is wrong. There were a lot of South Indian films have had Indian actors from the north, and South Indian film was actually identified as Indian cinema. And if we look at 70 years of India's cinematic history, and it's that just in the last 20 years which is forgotten. If you put together Tamil cinema, Telugu cinema, Malayalam cinema put together, no, it's much bigger than Hindi cinema. We just didn't know about it. You know, their overseas openings, you know, put everybody else to shame. I mean, if you look at it. So actually, what pandemic has done is just leveled it. You know, now we know the other languages are there. Like Prabhas was saying, we are like more than, you know, how many languages we have. We have as many industries. You know, we just don't recognize it. You know, we are the only one country. If you look at Europe, you know, you only talk about UK, French cinema, Polish cinema, little bit of other language cinema. But when we talk about India is bigger than Europe, and the number of industries that we have is more than 15. As in industries that is working is more than 15. Europe doesn't have that kind of numbers, and you know, so because we have our own stories, our own language, our own literature. You know, so Radhesham come from the core of Indian cinema. You know. So even if, you know, you see visuals of that kind, and you know, because the film is set in Europe, because that's what the basic tenet of the story is that. That's why it is set in Europe. It's not that we want to compete with Titanic or make it like that or go one step ahead of it, but the story demanded that it be set in Europe in the 70s. And so we are just coming together. I mean, India, the Indian audience is coming together. I mean, that's what the pandemic has done to us. Post-pandemic, we have identified as one people through Indian cinema. I mean, that is the core of Indian cinema has done in the last 2.5 years.
At the
Hi.
same time, the
उन्होंने बोला कि मेरा फ्यूचर अच्छा है, तो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी अबाउट दैट और फिल्म हिट होगी, सो आई एम होपिंग.
प्रभास जी, हमने सुना है कि मिस्टर अमिताभ बच्चन नरेटर हैं, तो what would you say
Yeah.
about that? What's your
So
view?
it was like great. You're talking about the voiceover which he gave?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like everybody loves his voice, and I spoke to him and I sent him a letter. So sweetly he gave the voice, and we're very grateful. So it's a very important dialogue, I think, in the film. It starts with this dialogue and ends with this dialogue. So I'm very grateful. We are all grateful to him giving his voice.